Hello, I'm host Derek. Welcome to Talking with Famous People. My streak is over. I lost the elementary tournament tonight. It didn't go particularly well in general, but I want to take this opportunity, when I started moping about it, feeling really sad about it and everything, I tried to, well, not sad exactly, just bothered, like, I have to do something about this. This is not okay. But I started thinking about it, and I was like, okay, Eric, you need to pull back, you need to be objective, you need to be realistic, and anticipate what's going to actually occur and what's not, and what to deal with. So here's the thing. When you win, most of the time, there's less pushback you have to deal with. There's less parents trying to coach. There's less bunch of nonsense. And, we are, like I said, I'd won every elementary tournament for 8 years or something. We just lost one. Now, I want to stress, some of those ones over the 8 years that we won, we probably got lucky and probably shouldn't have won them, Probably the better team didn't win, But tonight, the better team didn't win, for sure. And that happens in part because I didn't have the tournament set up in such a way to make sure that all the debate rounds were judged by qualified debate judges who knew what they were doing, etc., etc. I didn't have as many judges as I expected, and etc. A bunch of boring little problems that all add up to us losing. And I can tell you what was not the problem. Our level of preparation for the debate topic, there's no way there's any other kids in that tournament who understood the argumentation as well, as deeply, as did my top two 6th grade teams. It's impossible. They're just not, I know. Anyway, but sometimes judges don't know what they're doing. They judge on the wrong thing or whatever, and that's fine. And you lose some. You lose some. Everybody loses some. I lose some. And it hurts. But what I resolved to do, in the past, I would have gone into freak-out mode. And there's a certain advantage to being in freak-out mode. Obviously, you're freaking out. Everybody takes seriously what's going on. I am not going into freak-out mode this time. I did not freak out tonight when the tournament was going into the shitter. Abraham was in charge of running the thing. He wanted to have it. He wanted to be tournament director. And I said, okay, well, you should be fine. I'll help you with it. I didn't help as much as I should have. I failed. Again. When I say it was going to the shitter, we finished an hour late. It's not ideal, certainly, but it's not an absolute fiasco, and some tournaments are. So, and that was mostly thanks to the kindness of, my direct competitor and another coach who coaches around. He helped me a lot tonight. I appreciate that. Mike, if you happen to ever watch this video, I really do. And also, I won't go into that. Anyway, I put it this way: one of my two strongest teams, I got two really, really strong teams. One of them got JF'd in the first round, bad. I know because I had both the teams in the round were my teams. I know that there's no way. I want to see the ballot. I guess I don't know for a fact. But it seems highly unlikely that Natalie and Steven lost that round. I did spend a considerable amount of time with one of the other squad just one-on-one basically the other night, but Natalie and Steven are awfully good. So that hurt. It kept one of my two strongest teams out of the power match third round. What you don't know, but debate means basically that there were 2 rounds in the third round that were between undefeateds. 2 of my teams and 2 of Mike's teams. And Mike's teams beat my teams. One of those wins, I think, was absolutely legitimate. And they deserve to win that round, you know? The other one, I'm quite confident we should have won it. But shit happens. There's rounds we win that we shouldn't have won. So, anyhow, I'm going to go talk to the team. And this is important. What I'm saying here, it's important that we don't lose faith. That they don't lose faith in me is important. We got to go in there and make sure they understand that this is part of the process. And we have to go through a certain amount of this. There are rhythms to fortunes. There are rhythms to teams. They're like crops. If you have a fully functioning program, you've got your 5th grade debaters in full swing, and you've got your 8th grade debaters, former 5th grade debaters. So you've got a 4-year-long program for middle school. You start with 5th graders when they're still in elementary, transition into the middle school squad. If you're crazy and you want to try to run a high school squad too, then transition into high school if you can. It's harder there. It's harder there to get them to be able to participate on an equal level, or even on any level, just because they're so busy. No other reason. But anyhow, that's what running a program means. One of the reasons I'm happy to be back at Repay. Gives me the opportunity to set up a program. I hope to see. I need as many soldiers as I can get. The funny thing is, I feel kind of a peace about tonight because I know I had them prepared for that debate. I know my kids understood the arguments as well or better than anybody else there. And I know that my top teams had a deeper understanding. And I can say this with confidence because I know what other kind of cases people run. So I know my cases involve more sophisticated argumentation. I also know that sometimes kids don't quite get all that sophisticated argumentation. Lacey, you better shut up. You better knock it off. And lastly, I know that I know which kids do get it 100% to their core. And I'm constantly check, drill, check, drill, check, drill. So yeah. It's a dark day, but it's as dark as I choose to frame it. You have to incorporate the darkness a bit into the story here, you know. Otherwise, you're not giving due weight to the unfortunate reality that you face. But I remember something as well, which is parents watch those rounds and they know that what I'm telling them, I've already framed it for them in advance. I tell them in advance, I'm like, watch these rounds. Who understands the arguments better? Is it us or is it them? Because ultimately, that is what's going to correlate most strongly with wins. Is understanding, level of understanding. I ask the parents to check for that. Look for that. When they're watching rounds, because I want them to see that our kids are learning more. And I want them to see that our kids are being taught to understand first and foremost. And I think everybody aspires to that. I think we all try to. We all succeed sometimes, we all fail sometimes. I'm asking the parents in general to compare me against my competition on that vector. How well their children understand the arguments. So, to the extent that the parents apply what I ask of them going into the round, then I can be confident that we're going to be talking about results through that framework. And if we don't, I'll return to that framework where it belongs. Anyway, if you have a disappointment or a challenging set of realities to face like this, hey, Lacey, and hey, dogs and cat, don't, out, everybody out, out. There, I sent them away. What I figured I'd do is make this video. I thought it would make me feel better. I thought about giving a little spiel about not, and this is true, I don't want to succumb to the overly dramatic framings that I maybe have been inclined towards in the past, and I don't want to embrace those negative or high pressure narratives to quite the extent that I did in the past. I do want to win, and what I want to make sure we do is direct our energies carefully, make sure we attend to these sort of details that aren't even debate related but that affect our ability to win. Logistical stuff, SI shit. Abraham's pretty on top of it, but I have to remember his age. He is not as old as he seems. I mean, he's so competent that I just forget that he's 18 years old. He's so reliable, and he's so on top of his shit, and he's so earnest and good-willed, you know. That dog better shut up, or I'm going to go out there and yell at her. I cannot stand the sound of dogs barking. Anyway, did it have that effect on me? Did this video successfully make me feel less bad? Well, no, not really at the moment. And it's not that I feel terrible. It's that I'm burdened by realities I can't ignore. The Enneagram model says, you know, basically these types of them ignore shit all the time because they just want to escape their feelings that they're scared of. Well, maybe. I don't know. But the reality is, there's a lot of times you can't escape those feelings if it's something that's significant, like it is in this case. So one of the factors that's really bothering me is in my finger here, which is either broken or dislocated or I tore a ligament. One of the three things. I'm not sure which it is. It like hangs loose like this, and basically it's you know, not functional, right? I can move it a little bit and stuff like that, but it's not functional. So I've splinted it in hopes that that it'll heal properly. But it concerns me, makes me feel bad, makes me feel transient to know that I seriously damaged or broke one of my fingers here just scratching my butt in the car. That's disturbing that you're so fragile. I need these fingers badly. I use them for all sorts of stuff. I play guitar, I type. Type 7s are notoriously strong at what's called mental fine motor coordination, or mental body coordination. And what's up, kitty? Kitty, careful. Hey, Compton. Compton wants to tackle that poor kitty, but see, kitty thinks it's fun. But sometimes I'll hear her go meow meow when Compton's tackles her. If you are gonna bark, I'm putting you right back outside. You better not. Boo. Failure. Boo. Tomorrow's a new day. We got shit to do. We got tournaments to win. My kids are... Here's the beautiful thing about it, though. My kids are way better than these last couple of results show. They are. And I know this from years of coaching experience. I know how good my kids are and how not good they are. I do not want to hear that voice again, Missy. Yeah, she won't look at me when I scold her. She refuses to look at me. She doesn't want to be scolded. I don't blame her, but she needs to knock that shit off. No, don't you even think about it. So anyway, I know from many years of coaching experience how strong my kids are right now. I know that I've got the two of the strongest 6th grade teams probably in the whole country. Frankly, I think that's a reasonably safe thing to say, actually. So I don't need to stress over this result or that result. This one's meaningful because it breaks a streak. It's meaningful because it's not the first bad results I've had in the last few tournaments. Now, granted, this is not a fully developed program, right? This is a program in the first year. First year programs are not expected to win anything, usually. But we set expectations high in the first tournament, for me anyway, when we came right out and kicked a little bit of ass. We kicked a little bit of ass today, too, in terms of the actual performance of the debaters on the ground, but the results didn't go our way, and that's okay. It is a normal part of the debate process. I've experienced it plenty of times. I just haven't experienced it in elementary public forum. So, and this is actually almost all 6th graders in this tournament. But my 6th graders, that doesn't change anything for me. I mean, my 6th graders should definitely have won. So, I mean, keeping in mind, they didn't, right? So it doesn't matter whether they should have or not. But what I'm saying is, as a coach, it does matter. There is a difference between a team or a squad overperforming in terms of results or underperforming in terms of results according to their ability level. And it doesn't change their ability level. It's easy enough to say, well, then they're just not as good as you think they are because they keep losing. No, that's not true. They're good. They're as good as I think they are because I'm comparing them objectively to, nearly a decade's worth of 6th graders. I know where they sit. I know where they stand amongst their peers. I know where they stand amongst middle school debaters in general. So yeah, there's a difference. And for me as a coach, it makes a big difference. It makes it a lot easier to swallow when you know that you got, at some point in a couple of spots in the tournament, some decisions went against us that probably should have gone the other way. That's not anything to get upset about. And it's not anything to be surprised by, certain things that have happened before. And like I said at the outset, we've been on the beneficiary side of similar circumstances plenty of times. So pull back, detach, get to work, relax, and don't beat yourself up. Thanks for watching. I'm sure this was probably not the most interesting video in the world, but it was important to me to be able to make it and put it up there. It makes me feel a little bit better. Thanks.